am also being guided, before I go into the lesson, to just share in relation to current energetics. Sometimes it is a part of the offering to gift awareness of what is taking place within the quantum field, so that everyone has the opportunity to meet these energy consciousnesses or experiences with more transparency and clarity. So there is, and there has been many and multiple choice points for our collective, and they are also going to rapidly increase. So since the Lionsgate portal in the last year, there was a portal opened, and it was a completion creation portal. So it was closing out the 42,000 year cycle of the earth, and the timing that we have in history is distorted, which means that it hasn't been able to be predicted exactly when this cycle would close out and when it would come through. But there are different prophets such as Nostradamus and Edgar Casey that have predicted different things based on their remembrance of the cycle and their ability to read energy, similar to that which I'm cultivating. And their 42,000 year cycle started at the original seeding of the human race, and so it's come to a tipping point that we're in where the poles go through a flip. The North and the South Pole flip polarities. And so if we look at it just from a polarization, we step out of what we've been in, which the first 42,000 years was descending, 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 to the furthest separation point. And now we're flipping from, if you imagine the infinity symbol, and if you imagine the infinity symbol is always your unity point. So we've made our way. The first 42,000 years started in the center, and it's going out, 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 out. And the tipping point is that curve right on the outside edge before it folds back in on itself into unity. So it will take another 42,000 years approximately to go into unity consciousness on Earth. No, we're not required to go to unity consciousness. We're just required to bring in a 5-dimensional consciousness for humanity. But that requires unity for many of the beings that have volunteered to be here. And because of this pivotal shifting time, the energy vibration is becoming quite accelerated and intense in relation to the amount of momentum that's required to flip. So if you imagine, this is one way you can look at the swinging between two top poles, and then when you get to a stillness point, it's vibrating so fast before it actually stops in nothingness. So it's a very similar awareness that to flip that energy over, there has to be an intensity of energy of the completion and the creation, so the completion creation point. And so as we're moving into that completion creation point, there will be more and more choice points for you all as individuals, with your own soul mission, with what you're choosing to do, be, and experience. And only you know that path for you. Yet there will be a lot of moments, and one of the main moments that is coming up for I'm just going to call them the volunteers, is, do I stay or do I go? And it sounds drastic, and it sounds overwhelming, and it sounds dramatic and painful and all of the things, but we have choice. And so every being has a choice to continue at any point in time, right? We have a choice now, we have a choice in the next moment, in the next moment, in the next moment. Every moment is a choice point, really. And we can make a new choice in any moment. Yet some of those choices, based on creation, cannot be undone. You can just choose a different direction. And so I have just moved through my own choice point in relation to this, and it has sent me into point of my choice point was returning to source in completion of my entire spirit essence cycle, going back to non-existence, not returning to any starseed home, going right back. And I would no longer exist. I would completely cease to exist. And the other option was to stay and to return to source in physical form. I obviously chose to stay, but it took a lot of work to get to this point. So in that, I just wanted to share the loving reminders that are coming through in relation to every moment that's being chosen at the moment, and to stay still and calm, to be as aware as you can, to be as grounded, to be clear on what you're thinking and what you're asking for, what you're speaking out to the world. Not from pressure, from just awareness, knowing that your higher self is guiding you also. And if you're choosing your highest path, which you are, because you wouldn't be on this call otherwise, is that your monad will step in at times. So that's another aspect where you're to take a little bit of the pressure off, the stress off, because it can be, quite overwhelming at times. To just take a step back and be, and if you're in distraction, be in distraction. It's okay to be in distraction. Acknowledge you're in distraction. Know that your higher self won't let you stray too far from the path, because you've already chosen. So the only way for you to not choose your highest path now would be to consciously say, I'm no longer choosing my highest path, and I revoke, renounce, resound all of I'm not going to say it out loud. But you would have to consciously, with all of your being, actually choose the opposite of that which you have chosen. And that is also an opportunity that you can do at any time. And that's the power of being a sovereign being, is that you really do have complete choice over your path, your destiny, what you feel is true for you. So my energy is, if I could put it into words so that you have an awareness, if I'm a little floaty or slower in my communication skills, I feel like I am in an ayahuasca, MDMA and mushroom trip all together, and I have had very little sleep, and my consciousness, anywhere I put my focus, it's like being a kid in a candy store that has information to everything. So my directive is stay focused, stay still, and to correct any inversions as I speak them. So if I speak out of alignment, I will be light languaging the inversion that I put into the field. So hopefully you can feel this beautiful intensity. It's really quantum.